This is my brand new custom built Gameboy Advance in all white with a new IPS display, a built-in battery, and the best thing about it, it charges with USB-C. Here's how I did it. Hello and welcome back everyone. Today I want to take you through a project I've been looking forward for quite some time. This is an old Gameboy Advance in really poor condition I found on Sandico a few months back, and today we will upgrade it with a few special things I bought from Sad Labs. So let's see what we've got here. Now, nice packaging, Sad Labs. So one of the key upgrades is this brand new IPS display from Highspeedido or Highspeedido. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure about the pronunciation, so feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments down below. But anyway, to keep things simple, I grabbed a rechargeable battery kit from Funny Playing. No more fussing around with disposable batteries or forgetting to load the rechargeable ones. It happens every time. It is a small change, but it should make a difference in the long run. And lastly, for a bit of a cosmetic refresh, I opted for a clean white shell from Extreme Raid. All the links to the products are down below. But before we jump in, a quick word about today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop solution for anything around PCB prototyping and manufacturing. They also offer 3D printing, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, and even injection molding. They have a wide range of services to aid you in every step of bringing your next project to life. Ordering through their website is easy, and there is also an online chat available if you need help at every step of the ordering process. So big thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and check them out in the link in the description down below. Now on with the Gameboy Advance build. Okay, so let's take a look at the patient. This Game Boy is in really poor physical condition. I think it used to be white, but now it has all yellowed up over time. The back looks a little bit better, I guess. There used to be some stickers on, and you can see that the aging process hasn't applied right there where the sticker was. And I don't know if you can see it, but there we go. The glue inside the screen has already started to react and crumble up. So let's grab some fresh batteries and let's see if it turns on. Okay, here we go. Okay, it won't turn on. That's not a good sign. Let's see if I have other batteries here. Okay, let's see. Ah, there's some sign of life. There we go. But does it take games too, is the ultimate question. It does. Audio doesn't seem to work at all. There's still a lot of things to fix about this Game Boy. So we might be here for a good while, I guess. So let's open it up and see what's going on the inside. First we need to remove all the tri-wing screws from the back. Did I remove all the screws? I didn't remove all the screws. There is still one Phillips screw in there. Alright, here we go. Now it just lifts up. The motherboard is screwed in right here, here and here. Let's just get the screen out first. There we go. So that's the board with all the sticky gum stuff on it. Bah, it's really gross. This one deserves a really good cleanup. Okay, so on closer inspection I can't see any clear indication what's the problem with the audio not working. I think we need to give it a good clean and just have another look if it works that way. We need to get the audio working because everything else is working kind of. So let's take some IPA and rub this bad boy down. IPA really helps cleaning out all those crevices in those switches and stuff, so it's always good to just get some, put it in, and just wiggle everything around, that all the dirt comes right loose. So the board is clean, but we need to check if audio is working. Okay, audio is still not working. So on the headphones the audio is working, but it's not a volume fader issue because I can turn it louder and quieter. This does not seem to work. I don't have another Game Boy Advance right here, but I do think that maybe. Let's see if this Game Boy Color has the same speaker as the Game Boy Advance. Let's get this soldered out. Speakers working. We already confirmed operation, but now the audio is not working and it's throwing me off a little bit. I might continue without the audio for now to patch it in on a later date. That's unfortunate, but what we have to do right now. So, alright, so first things first, the new shell. This one needs a little preparation because there are some things that don't work with that shell and the mods I want to put into that. As you can see, there is a little standout right here, and this one needs to go in order to get the funny playing kit right in there, because if I don't clip that one standoff right there, it just won't sit in right with the battery under there. There's also a heatsink coming with the funny playing kit, and there is the battery. It claims to be around 6 to 8 hours of playtime, which is way longer than the playtime with just normal batteries. We need a clipper. Oh yeah, it's easy. There we go. So I think that should do the trick for now. I think we should continue on with the main attraction, which is this here. Lens looks nice though. Okay, so this seems to be fairly easy. There's a small lip right over there which we need to get up. Then we need to push that one in like so. Just clip it down. This is how it should look like. Just fix the board to the back of the IPS screen. The set comes with two different ribbon cables. One's for the 40-pin variant of the motherboard, and the other one is for the 42-pin variant of the motherboard. And we can easily see right there on the corner is a number, and it says 40 or 42, and I have the 40 variant, so I like to do this in the reverse order because then I can bend it that way back, and it's easier to just put it in right there. Right on, and that is everything I need to do to get the board up and running. Some of you will notice that there were 3 extra wires coming with the kit, and they are for this PCB, and you can solder the left, right and select buttons accordingly on the motherboard. And this is to access the brightness settings, but they are not really necessary because we have a touch sensor as well, and we use the touch sensor to control the brightness, and we will stick them on the inner part of the shell to get access to it whenever we need it. So they're not necessary. Okay, so let's see how we get it inside of the shell. There are 2 standoffs we need to put in. It's one right there and one right there. And I just use some Kapton tape again to secure them in place right here and here, just so they don't have so much wiggle room and I actually can move it around. Now we get the lens in first. This will go in like so. This is how it should look like with those 2 standoffs right here. And then let's get the board in like so. See. Okay, it's all back together now. This is max brightness. Let's make some space right here because now we need to put in the funny playing kit. And there's a few things we need to do that the funny playing kit actually works in there. There comes a heatsink with that funny playing kit, and we advise to just put it right here. It has some thermal paste right under that, and we just put it right there. Nice and tidy. When finished, it should look like this. Let's see if the battery actually fits in well. Let's see. there's a little hook in there, and there's another guiding wall right there. We need to get rid of those two things. So let's just clip this one out. Now the battery compartment is clean. The battery goes right there. Let's try to push the funny playing kit in place and see what's happening. And this is looking really good. I think it's friction fit. Now everything seems to be connected. Yeah, let's just try it out. It seems to work. Power is there. But we actually need to close it up. And to close it up, we have this battery compartment right here, and the funny playing kit comes with another compartment which already, as you can see, has the USB-C card right in there. If we just put it on top right there, it just seems to fit. But with the normal compartment, it will fit, but I'd like to have it plug in like on this one. So what I need to do is to make a cutout for the USB-C connector right there. And that's a challenge for itself. And to do that, let me see if I can just maybe line it up. So let's just see if I can get that in. Right on. Looking great. Sweet, alright. So I think I will clean it up just a little and then I'm done with it. If you just look at the original I've based off, I think I did a pretty good job to just line it up. It's not 100%, but how often do you look at a port on the back side of your Game Boy Advance, right? So the Game Boy is working fine and all, but there's still some things to do. I want to cast some buttons for the Game Boy, and for that I need to clean up all this mess, and then we get to button casting. For casting the buttons, it's pretty simple procedure. I do have full-on videos on how to cast buttons for controllers and game cartridges of all sorts on this channel, so I will link them down below in the description to keep this segment a little bit shorter this time around. Okay, so it has been a couple of days and the buttons had time to cure and harden out. So let's take a look. I've used this Jaguar powder to get some shiny sparkles in the buttons. However, they turned out a little more pearlescent, which I also find quite pleasing. I think the subtle shininess is really hard to capture on camera, but I think they look really nice in real life. And I also ordered some replacement speakers from Amazon. Now let's put them in the Game Boy and see if we can get audio working. We grab this one speaker and we need to solder some wires on there. They don't need to be long. So and then let's add just a little more solder. See if it works. Here we go. Oh yeah. Nice! Audio is working. Okay, audio is finally working too. Now let's finish this Game Boy up and assemble everything together for a final conclusion. And it's done. This Game Boy turned out so nice and exactly how I imagined it to be. I really love how clean it looks and the fact that there are no compromises to image quality or longevity. The screen has around 15 brightness levels, and as you've seen before, I adjust them with the touch sensor attached to the bottom of the front shell. The Funny Playing Kit sits well in the battery compartment. However, the battery cover fits very tightly. I assume the installed heatsink presses against it, but I don't have any concern that it will come loose anytime soon. To be honest, this build was quite a ride for me. The audio not working before has really thrown me off. But in the end I managed to punch through, and now I'm so happy and really excited to play this little Game Boy. And it fits my shirt quite well, does it? And with that, I'm done for today. Thank you for watching, and if you got something out of this video, I kindly ask you to subscribe, because there are a lot more videos about modding and retro gaming coming in the near future. I am Paul, this is my little mod shop, and I see you in the next video.